You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Bold and Beautiful fans. It is Belynda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your weekly B&B prediction edition. As always, these are based in confirmed spoilers, but they are where I think the storylines might go. My speculation, my prediction, and of course, as always, I look forward to your comments, whether you agree with me, disagree, whether you have a whole different idea. I love talking soaps with you guys. I love bouncing ideas off of y'all, and I read all your comments. So for the three predictions, we have one about Eric and the fashion showdown. We have another about Liam and Thomas and Hope, and we have another one about Li Finnegan and where she is going. All right, before we dig into these, if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Bold and Beautiful updates, spoilers, news, and more. All right, my first prediction, let's dig right in. Eric Forrester collapses at the end of the fashion showdown. That's my prediction. That's not a spoiler. Don't get it confused, just to be clear. So spoilers for next week. This week we're going into, this starts on the 16th. Eric Forrester's doctor comes to do another house call, confirmed spoiler, and we're going to find out more about how he's doing. And Dr. Crosby apparently doesn't like what he sees because on Wednesday, October 18th, an official spoiler says Eric ignores his doctor's orders and is working way too hard trying to finish the legacy line. And then a spoiler for Tuesday, October 17th, say that Donna is heartbroken when she finds out how serious things are with Eric's health. I really hope on Tuesday we get an actual diagnosis. Maybe Eric has gotten those extra tests we heard about like a week or two ago, and they'll clear the air so we know, okay, this is what he has. I hope they don't just leave it vague. I want a diagnosis. So I published a standalone video on Saturday. You guys can see it on the Bold playlist, or you can just scroll through our recent videos and see it. And it's talking about a real life illness that kept John McCook off the set for several days, right in the middle of them filming this fashion showdown with all the guest stars. So check that out. But as part of the interview, when he talked about why he was sick and why he missed part of the shoot, he and Torsten K talked about why Eric would collapse at the show. And Torsten said it's because Eric doesn't take care of himself. And John McCook laughed and said, "Too many martinis, baby." So he was joking about the martinis, but when they mentioned about, and it was the interviewer who mentioned Eric collapsing at the show, they weren't laughing about that part. So I do think it's going to happen, but because there is not an official spoiler confirming his collapse, I'm calling this a prediction right now. With Eric ignoring doctor's orders, Donna freaking out, and him pushing himself to the limit, what I hope happens, I hope Eric wins it, and there's this big moment of triumph, and then we see the impact of all this overwork, and he collapses. I do not think that Eric is going to drop dead or anything. Anybody that's telling you Eric's about to die, don't buy the clickbait. If you click, you reward them for lying to you. I'm just going to say that. I do think it's going to put a big scare into Eric and the entire Forrester family, though. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see how it plays out. All right. Our second prediction is that Liam Spencer is going to realize Thomas is banging Hope and he's going to lose his ever-loving mind. So if you were one of the 7 to 12 Bold and the Beautiful fans missing Liam Spencer, you'll be happy to know he is back this week. I don't know exactly the date, but I expect it's going to be Friday, October 20th, because that's the day I know for sure that Thomas Forrester has scenes. The spoiler for him and Hope says he reassures Hope that his love for her is undying. Remember, she keeps hearing Finn's voice in her head saying Thomas isn't good enough for her, but apparently he's good enough to keep riding like a drugstore racehorse because she was back at it last week. So then there's an undated spoiler for the week of the 16th through the 20th that says Thomas and Liam face off. Since a crap ton of people now know that Thomas and Hope are making the two-backed beast, I imagine Liam is going to find out very soon what his estranged / ex-wife has been doing and who she has been doing repeatedly. So I just want to say, I don't like that Brooke walked herself into Thomas's bedroom and caught them getting frisky. And I did not enjoy seeing Brooke or Taylor kind of walking in and catching them at the office hanky-panky. The reformed slut of the valley and her rival for Ridge's joystick need to mind their business and not walk in on them. Thomas and Hope are adults. Mom's walking in on them is creepy, but I would pay good money to see Liam walk in on them and see Hope straddling Thomas for real this time. That would be a priceless moment, a Kodak moment. The spoiler says that Thomas and Liam face off. That's all the spoiler says. I certainly look forward to this, and I kind of want to see it slapped in Liam's face that Hope's been banging Thomas like she's training for the Sex Olympics. And I also would love it. I don't think she will, but I would love it if she told Liam, oh, by the way, remember that hot couch sex before I went to Italy? I was thinking about Thomas then, and the reality is even hotter than my fantasies. So I would just love to see Thomas and Hope blow Waffle Boy's mind, but I don't think Hope would taunt him that way. I don't think she would. And I actually expect Thomas to be kind of polite but firm and say something like, Hope's happy to have a man who loves just her, unlike you, who can't stop obsessing about my sister. I don't think Thomas is going to put up with too much smack talk from Liam. I don't think their confrontation is going to get physical, but there might be a little war of words, and I'm totally here for it. My last prediction for the week is that Li Finnegan is going to turn full villain. So one thing I noticed last week was the opening credits changed. You guys probably noticed too. And both Luna and Li are now part of the opening scroll. So that means Lisa Yamada is on contract, and it sure looks like they've upgraded Naomi Matsuda to contract status as well. I hope so. My recollection is that only contract players are on the starting credits. But either way, I love Naomi Matsuda. I think she's a great actress. And we all know that Li Finnegan has a dark side. Remember when she stood there watching Sheila die of a heart attack right in front of her in the ER without moving a muscle? Remember the nurse was going, Dr. Finnegan, do you want the defibrillator? And Li's just standing there like, I don't hear anything. If not for Finn swooping in to save Sheila's life, that woman would be pushing up daisies or burning on a spit in hell right now. So, and then in one of those confrontations at the Malibu house a few weeks back where Li was lecturing Finn, I felt like she was almost telling him to kill his biological mother because she was saying, get rid of her for good. And it was like, exactly what is she telling him to do? And now we have Li slut-shaming her younger sister and chewing her cute little niece a new one. I mean, it's not Luna's fault if her mom was spreading it around the hospital, you know. I do suspect there's more going on with Luna. Some people have suggested Finn is her dad. No way is that happening. But I think it's feasible that Finn might be Luna's half brother. I mean, Jack Finegan didn't keep it in his pants with Sheila, and he might have cheated more than once. That's possible. Finn being her dad, I don't think so. At any rate, a spoiler for Friday, October 20th says Li Finnegan goes over to Il Giardino, where Sheila Carter is now working. Deacon has given her a job next week as part of the program to rehabilitate her image and get everyone to back off, which they're not going to do just because she's bussing tables at the pizza joint. But Li shows up and starts taunting Sheila. That's a confirmed spoiler. She's trying to get the nine-toed lunatic to lash out at her. That's also part of the confirmed spoiler. And my guess is so that she can have her arrested, something like that. So the feeling overall and what this prediction is about is I think that Li Finnegan might be becoming a little unhinged. Like things are getting out of her control. This thing with Luna, this thing with Sheila. And we've seen that Li is capable of letting someone die right in front of her. Maybe she's capable of actively taking a life too. I mean, she wants Finn to have his wife and son back in his life, and Sheila is the obstacle that's standing in the way of her son's happiness. And if Sheila's going to marry Deacon and stick around, that's going to be a big issue for Li Finnegan. Will she go full villain and take Sheila out like a bag of stinky trash? Maybe. Will she keep terrorizing her niece until she drives her out of LA? I think she's going to try, but we'll see. All right, guys, that is it for the prediction edition. Please drop your comments below, whether you agree or disagree with me. If you have different ideas, I love reading your comments. I love talking soaps with you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click a like if you enjoyed this discussion. And again, drop those comments. I read them all. I try to respond whenever I have time, but I definitely read every single one of them. So thanks for showing up every day to talk soaps with me here. This has been Belynda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.